Let's continue our exploration of null values by looking at the bike rentals data set from the last video. So what I want to do is look again at the null values that are remaining and then make some decisions accordingly. Note that we are not taking an approach of just blindly saying, hey, let's just replace every null value in the data set with the median, for instance. That's a reasonable approach, but it's not necessarily the best one. So I'm going to show what's left of the null values. Now, I know I did it before, so if you have code that you've used before, by all means, you can go back and get it and find it. So there's an iloc. Where is this? Is it right? This shows all the null values. df in brackets df.isInA.any axis equals 1. So I'm go there and copy that, Command C, and scroll down to the new coding cell, Command V. So I'm going to do a new header here, give away what we're going to do, and call it correct null values by inspection. Do you all know that phrase, by inspection? It's used in math and science sometimes. When you just see like the answer, like, oh, I don't know like the right technique, but it should be 0 or something like that. Meaning like you're solving it by looking at it, not by using a technique. Okay, so here we have some null values. Now, consider the last row showing 730. Okay, you can see that there are two null values. There's a year and a month. Okay, so the question is, what should those be, right? An approach of like, well, I'll take the mean year or the mean month kind of doesn't make sense, If you look at the row, just look at it, okay? This is the thing. You have to get to know your data. You have to take time to look at it. It's not just input, output. It's, okay, what do I see? What's revealed in this row? Well, if you look over just a little bit to the left, you see the date, right? And furthermore, you see how the dates correspond to the month and the year. Okay, you have to be careful, right? You could say, oh, year's 2012, right? So I'm looking right here. Year's 2012, so I'll put in 2012. Well, but look at these years, 0 and 1, these are normalized. So it looks like 2012s are 1s and 2011s are 0s. So we want that to be 1, which is 2012. And then the month in this case is pretty clearly 12, right? Those seem to be as you would expect. Okay, so how do we do that? Now, we don't actually have to do some major null value correction thing. We can reassign the value using kind of standard .lock or iloc notation. Okay, you can because when you're accessing elements, well, you can change them, right? So let's start by changing this entry. Okay, it's row 730, column year. Okay, so here we go. It's df dot, now I'm going to use them by name, so that's .lock. Okay, row is 730. And then year is, oh man, I paused because I'm like, do you put it in? Yeah, I don't think you need the df there. And then what we want to do is set that equal to the value of 1.0. Okay, let's try that. Shift enter. No errors, that's a good sign. Let's go ahead and try the other one too, just to, before checking it. So again, row 730. So recall that iloc would be index, but since we're using these by name, okay, we can just put in the name. And note that month, you see it up here, I'm copying it as it is. It doesn't have an O in there. Some people aim to try to make the namings really concise. Well, it's not really consistent with month abbreviated like that, but then working day is rather long, but hey. And we know that should be 12.0. And then I can go ahead and show that row, right? So press Shift Enter. By the way, here's an interesting thing. So if I try df.lock row 730, let's just do that first. Let's see, did it go through, right? You know, you always want to verify these things, right? Is there some in-place thing I needed, or did it actually change? Well, we can see that the year and the month have changed, right? I wanted to say, if you want to look at it as a data frame, I'm tempted to I think you can do this, right? Because you're like, well, I'd rather see it as kind of the data frame row. Let me just show you. I think it's pd.dataframe. Yeah, data frame. See, I pause when I'm not sure. I wait, and then it's giving me the suggestions. Okay, it's data frame. And now, can I just do the df.lock30? Will it show it? This was actually 730. Will it show horizontally as a data frame? It shows vertically as a data frame. Interesting. Not what I wanted. You can't transpose it though. Gosh, we try that. Oh, look at that, it works. So transpose, I wasn't planning on introducing this now, but transpose basically rotates it. So, you know, well, like you saw. And it is just .t. Okay, a little extra to try to do that. I kind of wish when it was 1, they just showed it like that, but they don't. Okay, totally unnecessary, this last part. Just an FYI. But there you see kind of a cool way that you can actually change individual null values by inspection.